Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is November 1st, 2021. Welcome to my Moldavite update of 4.5 years in working intensely with Moldavite. Now, I want to share this experience between this eclipse season. We just had one pass on the 25th of October, the solar eclipse, and then we have another one on November 8th. So we're smack in the middle of two eclipses. Now, I do want to keep talking about this red thread, okay? It's interesting to me. I didn't realize this, but on the day prior to the solar eclipse, I was taking a bath, and typically when you're in the shower, you tend to download a lot of information, right? All these thoughts coming from our higher self or the ethers, through water, whatever it is, the shower seems a place to channel a bunch of stuff. I was in the shower, and the message that came through is make a lot of red threads. This is where your first million is going to come through. I thought that was very fascinating because how many red threads do I need to make this $1 million? Wow, I got a message from the phone. Okay. Like literally, it took me about an hour, 45 minutes to make each one. And I just started laughing and saying, oh my God, this is going to take a lot of red threads to reach this $1 million. And so it was very strongly, okay? The message came out very clear and very strong. What I didn't realize is the next day was actually the solar eclipse, the partial solar eclipse. And so the week prior to it, like each day I would probably get a pull to make like 1 to 2 threads max. They would trickle in every other day. Kid you not. On the day of the solar eclipse, the guidance came through very clear. Take out all my rings. So these are 10 karat gold plated rings. So I bought a small inventory of them. And then I dumped them out. And then my body just led me to get this one, pull this one aside, pull this one aside, not this one, keep separating them. And the total that came out was 44 rings. And the message was, these are the souls you're gonna make the threads for. And out of the 44, when I dumped out of my little inventory, I have 3 sets of this who are already intertwined. Okay, the rest are just single pieces, but there's 3 sets like this to intertwine. So what I believe is there's already 3 soulmates that found each other in this set. So in this set of 44, there's already 6 people in there that are soulmates for each other. So I got 3 sets of this. I still haven't made them yet. So what was interesting is, you know, that's a lot of threads to make, right? And the message is so strong. It's like spend the whole day making as much thread as you can. I put 44 rings aside, and I was only able to make 10 threads that day. It took me 8 hours. But I just thought it was so fascinating, right? If old Tammy would come across like different things online, like, oh, this red thread of fate, these different stories, different legends, superstitions. Would I believe so much into it? Probably not. There's so many superstitions out there. However, the red thread of fate was the first time I've ever heard of it, was through my download. I really never heard of this red thread of fate before. And so the guidance for me to make this red thread, I thought was very interesting, right? It doesn't even have Moldavite. If I were to pull back to make any jewelry, I would figure there'd be some Moldavite involved, but there was none. So what is the story behind this red thread, right? It's this moon god is a Chinese legend of this moon god who ties 2 souls together. And they're connected to this red thread. And he has this book of fate with all the names aligned on who are each other's soulmates. Do I believe it? Not really. However, this soulmate energy didn't come out until I started working with Palisite, which is strictly a meteorite. Moldavite is half tektite, half earth element, okay? Half space, half earth element. So it's this bridge between earth and space. Palisite, on the other hand, is a meteorite, so it's space material. This red thread, I didn't get the guidance to make this red thread until I started working with Palisite. So, you know how they say like it's written in the stars, this divine love? I believe that. And going through this last 4 years of meeting so many twin flame connections from past life, from different soul connections, different lifetimes, it's so fascinating to see how much I've grown, how much these embodiments came through, where the synchronicities, it's down to, I've narrowed it down to like the first letters of who the name could be, okay? It's really interesting. There's so many more, so notice, what is the pattern in the people that you've dated or you've connected with or been partners with? Notice what letter it starts with. I notice a consistency in my past relationships. Always seems to start with 1 or 2 letters. And also notice their birthdays, okay? So notice the commonalities, notice the similarities of your past relationships and piece them together. Now, I've gotten a couple feedbacks on people's experience with the red threads. It's been interesting. If you receive yours, I would love to hear your experience if you want to share. Now, I want to share with you my experience on what I experienced wearing this about 3-4 weeks in. The first couple days, I've got this essence showed up in my dreams. It wasn't really a form, it was just this being of light. Like I sensed their energy, like very familiar, okay? And all of a sudden, that essence went away after a couple of days. It was consistent in my dreams, but then now it's just stopped. And those who I thought could be a possibility of a soulmate in physical form vibrated out of my field. It was as if this thread got me realigned, reconnected with this other person on the other side of the thread. So it's still uncovering, it's still unfolding. But all I know from this red thread is I'm being called to make it. Is it only for soulmates? I believe so. Who knows where this thread's gonna lead you, okay? The message was, make these red threads, you're gonna make your first million. Now, is it physically making the red threads? I don't know. But when I'm in the zone, making this red thread, right? When you're in the flow, everything shuts out. If you watch the movie Soul on Pixar, when you're in this flow state, you're in a different dimension, basically. And I wonder if it's like when I'm so in the zone of making this thread, especially on that eclipse day, literally 8 hours, only made 10 threads. I was so in the zone that I stopped thinking about all these different fears I had, all the doubts, all the worries I had, like all those shut off because I was so focused on making this. So it's as if I got present to this here and now. Closed off, have those other timelines die off or not feed my energy into those timelines. That could be a possibility on why I'm being called to make this red thread. But when I'm in the zone, for right now, I'm very clear that I am the clearest as a vessel that I've ever been. So as I'm in the zone, things are channeling through into this red threads. I don't know if you're being called here, you're being pulled here. And I posted a video yesterday on how to find your red thread. It's basically 3 ways to tap into your intuition using your body. I invested $13,000 in a year-long program for someone to teach me these tools, and then throughout the whole program, it's what does your intuition say? What does your intuition say? What does your intuition say? It was a tool that first got me to get out of my mind and really allow this, my one next step, to come through. Now, $13,000 for a program is very expensive. For that point in time, I didn't have the money, but intuition checked out through all the different intuition tests that I was taught. So again, this is when you take your limitations out of the way and just use your body to guide you to your one next step, okay? But yeah, so those tools, if you haven't seen that video, I'll post a link in the description. Watch it. And now once you get clear signal on your yes and no's, ask, is one of your threads here? So right now I have 16 made so far. I believe the rest I will be finished making by the end of this lunar eclipse, this next eclipse. So ask, is one of your threads here? If it's a yes, would it be my best interest to get this thread? Is this my one next step to get this thread? Yes? Surrender, okay? Now, if you gotta know if this is your thread, if your thread's not here, ask, will your thread come through by the end of this lunar eclipse? Or would your thread come through through Tammy? Or is your thread here through Tammy? Now, am I gonna continue making these threads after eclipse? Right now, I'm not sure. But for right now, I have 16. I have quite a handful to make left to reach that 44. But all I know is 44 came through for the solar eclipse. Now, will there be more coming through? Who knows? That's a possibility. So ask if your thread will come through down the line. Okay? If it's a yes, you'll know when your thread comes through. You come back and check the channel, or you get this hit to go check the website. Then that's how you know. Even if things doesn't make sense, if you don't believe in this red thread, if you feel like you don't need it, I don't know. If intuition's letting you to get a red thread, then get a red thread. If not, then it's not here. So that's all I can really guide you on, this red thread. I'm still experimenting with this, allowing to see what comes through. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you guys. If intuition led you here, if your thread's here, then you'll know to come find your thread. Now, what if you already have a soulmate? Or what if you already believe that you found your soulmate? I don't have an answer for you guys. I do know that 3 of these rings came through, connected out of that whole pile that I had. 3 of them came out like this, already connected. So I believe out of that set of 44, there's already 3 soulmates that have found each other within this set. So there's 3 sets of molding who found each other within that 44 that are gonna be released. So who knows what else can come through during this eclipse portal. But also notice, right? Even there's a song on the total eclipse of my heart. It's eclipsing and it's creating this massive portal into so many lifetimes. And this is the connection from the stars. A love from the stars. But that is all I have for you guys. It's not so much of selling. It's really training you guys on how to trust your intuition. You asked for something. You sent the signal out. I got a call to bring these threads into form. Here it is. thelightgoddesses.com. So go check out those threads. But for right now, one next step, if you're being called for your red threads, if it's out of the 16, you can find on my website. Okay? all I got. So tune into intuition. Go back to my previous video on how to find your red thread. Start there, and then I'll see you for the next episode. Temmie do.